morning, maybe afternoon or evening or good night. I'm not really sure. Welcome to yet another Star Trek podcast. I'm Brad, and as always, thank you for tuning in. Now, with me as usual is Mr. Lens Flare himself, Majid. How you doing there, buddy?
Hey, buddy. Are you Brad for the morning? Because it's
always. I don't honestly. It's listeners. It's 7:42, and I don't have no idea why I'm up this early. But the person who never sleeps is also with us. Drew, how you doing over there, buddy?
Time has no meaning. Existence is pain.
I kind of feel like you're struggling a little bit over there.
You said you had no idea why you were up, but that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm the reason that you're up.
No, I'm the reason.
Oh, it's your fault this time. I'm just so used to taking the blame for the craziness with our recording schedule these days.
No,
is it your fault?
This is my fault. Tomorrow's my church banquet, and it's a pretty packed day. So we have service at 9:30. I work the cameras, and then from there, I think we have to be up at man, I don't know what the name of the place is. Is it the Watergate? I think it's the Watergate banquet hall.
Really?
What?
You're not thinking about a Nixon era scandal?
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure.
I might have the name mixed up.
Yeah.
Look, I have energy this morning. I'm not as wired as last week. This is not post workout me.
You watched the new season of Stranger Things, didn't you?
No, I didn't. Why? Is it good?
Oh, well, they mentioned Watergate in the new season.
Should I finish season 3 before I get into season 4?
You probably should.
I love how you knew the answer before you finished that sentence.
It was so hard to finish that.
Dude, it is such a good time to be a sci-fi fan, though. Like we have Stranger Things season 4. The Orville just came out with season 3.
Did it?
Yeah, it dropped on Thursday or Friday. I haven't seen it yet. Strange New Worlds, obviously. You got Obi-Wan, The Boys. All this stuff has been coming out within the past couple weeks, and man, I don't have enough time.
So I want to just quickly talk about The Boys, just a quick 30 seconds, right? Time me. I put on season 3, episode 1 yesterday during lunch.
Uh-huh.
And it was just, because I can't watch this when my daughter's home. So I'm sitting in the living room on the couch, and there was a scene that came up. The worst one yet, my wife walks in.
Oh, that's how it always is.
And she's like, well, what is happening? I said, I don't know. She says, how are you enjoying this? I said, I don't know. Why are you smiling? I don't know. It's like some of the worst things you've ever seen, but your eyes are glued to the screen.
It is another level of disturbing. For this show. And thank God that my wife likes to watch the show, because she was cringing right next to me the entire time.
Yeah, it was bad.
Did you guys ever read the comics?
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay. So I didn't finish the entirety of it. I think I got almost like the last few issues for it. Man, if the comics themselves go far, far beyond what the show does. And so from based upon your talk about season 3, like it may be finally catching up to that.
Well, apparently there's one story, Herogasm, that they tackled this season.
I was not sure how they were going to translate that. That, man, like the amount of profanity I want to use to describe that series is not suitable for this podcast.
So I mean, it's still early. I mean, you can use profanity. Just know that however much profanity you use, you're making Drew do that much work to bleep it out.
That's why I'm not doing it.
Brad, I love you.
I always think, hey, that fix it in post, that's Drew.
I am the post.
I am the one who knocks.
But no, I've the comic itself. When I heard that they were making a show of it, I had no idea how they were going to get away with half the crap they had. There's so many things that are really not appropriate to talk about in this podcast.
I will say, having not read any of it, my God, the stuff that they get away with. on a regular basis is just.
Even the things that I saw from season 1 and 2, it was pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just when you think it can't get any more ridiculous, it just goes to another level. And they just keep upping the ante. And I'm like, how can you, there's nowhere else to go. How do you keep accomplishing this? But they do. And all that said, as bonkers as the show is, it's also really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the acting in it, the guy that's playing Homelander, oof.
Anthony, oh my God, I must say Anthony Rapp.
No,
but I know it's not Anthony Rapp.
For one. I know you're talking about
Anthony Starr.
Maybe.
And yeah,
he's British.
The
right?
Was it Carl Urban? Like, is phenomenal.
Yes.
And
yeah, he brings his A game to every single role.
Yeah.
Him and Woody Harrelson, those two actors, they bring it every single time.
I remember hearing
to every single role.
I remember hearing when it was Carl Urban was going to be playing Butcher, and I remember it was like that guy who played Bones in Star Trek. It was like, how the hell is he going to pull that off? And oh my God, once they I saw him, his acting so spot on for that character.
Do you think of, like, when you think of The Boys now, do you think of him as Billy Butcher? Like, if you were to read the comics, would you read it in his voice?
Oh, totally.
That's a sign of a good actor, because, like, I'm going through book 6 of The Expanse right now, and every character, like, I'm reading Marco Sonaro's parts, and I'm hearing it in that actor's voice with his inflection and the way he stands and walks, and it's just tremendous.
Well, the same was for me with Amos. The actor who played Amos did such a phenomenal job of just, like, becoming that character. Yeah. It did the exact same thing for me. I think of the boys, though, the one that kind of I still struggle with is Huey.
Yeah, Jack Wade.
Yeah, like I love the actor. However, in the comics, it's such a different description. It's so much more.
He's Simon Pegg in the comics.
Simon Pegg, yep. Simon Pegg. It's and having Simon Pegg as his father is a bit kind of funny in my mind, but still, like, Simon Pegg was like the Huey, at least when I was reading the comics. That's how it really felt.
Well, it's basically a mini little Star Trek Kelvin reunion.
I didn't realize that they modeled him after Simon Pegg.
Yeah, the comics do that, like independent comics. So a good example of that is the comic Wanted that came out years ago. They modeled the main character out of Eminem.
Interesting.
And the supporting character, the one that Angelina Jolie played, that was Halle Berry.
Interesting. That was a pretty good movie. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, listen. If you ever read the comic, it's so different.
Entirely different.
Yeah, it's not the same thing.
Never is. Never is.
No, but this is a complete 180 though.
Well, that's kind of like the struggle with any type of adaptation, whether it be even comic books or books. Like you have a baseline, and then depending on the deal, like, they will change it entirely or keep it extremely faithful. And I feel that there's a balance that they need to make. It's the situations where they kind of find a middle ground. Because if they make it extremely faithful, then it's usually over the top and kind of ridiculous, not as good as it could have been. And then when they go to the other extreme, like Wanted, where it's entirely different, then it loses the fan base.
Well, Watchmen was extremely faithful to the comic, wasn't it?
It was probably, yeah. I would say that. See, like, to me, as a fan of Watchmen, I really enjoyed the movie, but I understand why people who weren't fans of the book were kind of very meh about it. I mean, I remember actually seeing it in theater, Majid, with you and one of our friends, and all we could talk about afterwards were, like, how it was advertised as an action movie, but it's not an action movie at all.
Yeah, and then there was that, for some reason, a slow motion sex scene.
Slow motion in the clouds thing.
Slow motion in the clouds, and then afterwards the ship fires this fire cannon.
Every single time I bring up Watchmen, my wife brings that part up. She's like, I don't understand why it shoots out fire. That doesn't make any sense.
I'm excited to see your wife again one day. You moved away from us, and you took the ability for us to have like a wives get together away.
Well, you and I get to have a slight reunion next week. Actually, 1 week from today.
It's gonna be weird for her.
Yeah, she's gonna be like, "Who are you?"
No, it's gonna be weird for her because we're gonna be hugging her for like. Sure, how long did you say? Like 45 seconds?
We could do the handshake, and we'll see who breaks eye contact first.
Yeah. For the listener who doesn't know, every time I see Brad, we do this thing where we one, we hug. Two, we will shake each other's hand, bring each other in, and we will just maintain eye contact to see who will break first.
I like to think I'm the reigning champ.
You're both winners in my eyes.
Drew's lying.
All right, so I know I'm probably gonna mess up the title multiple times, even though it is the simplest title. I'm gonna probably add an N that doesn't exist.
You wanna practice?
No, I'm good.
Say it 3 times fast.
This week, folks, we watched Spock Amok. See, I did it. I did it with the N.
Nice.
So
right,
can we get a counter? Every time he messes it up, we give him a ding.
Ding. All right.
Remember, this is all work in post.
Yeah, I know. T'Pring and her fiance Spock have one thing in common. They can't agree on anything. But after a soul-sharing ritual goes awry, things get switched up a bit. They wake up to the biggest freak out ever. T'Pring and Spock are trapped inside each other's bodies. With both T'Pring and Spock having very important meetings planned for later that day, it's a race against the clock to return things the way they were.
Excuse me, Brad.
Yes, Drew.
Did you just steal that description off the back of the box of Freaky Friday?
Oh my God, it does sound familiar. Which Freaky Friday though? We're talking about the Lindsey Lohan version? Or?
I think. No. You did.
Well, maybe. I mean, the episode was kind of close. I was like, you know what? I didn't really have much time, and I could borrow it.
Nah, it's called plagiarism.
Just because I haven't slept doesn't mean I'm not on to you.
All right.
I'm totally on board for the synopsis. I'm like, oh my God, he's totally right. Everything. It didn't.
You caught me. Yeah, yes. I may have changed the names and tweaked some of the wording a little bit, but that's basically the description for Freaky Friday from Disney Plus.
Did you just plug Disney Plus?
Yeah, of course. Try to get the moolah, man.
Listen, if we're gonna get any type of advertisement, I hope it's like Muscle Milk or
Fight Milk.
Or there's Fight Milk. We can do Fight Milk. I need some kind of protein.
He needs free protein, yeah.
Right, I need protein. So we can also do lean body protein, which is like 40 grams protein and no carbs.
Well, let me start over a little bit here, guys. All right, so the Enterprise is in space dock for repairs from their fight with the Gorn. Most of the crew are now off on shore leave. Spock and Pike are still on board to negotiate. I'm gonna totally butcher this alien species name. Rogovans? Rongovians. There you go. Rongovians. Well, number one in saying head up security for the ship. Spock and T'Pring attempt to get to better understand each other by performing a soul-sharing ritual. As mentioned before, that doesn't really go out very well for them, and they find themselves stuck in each other's bodies, and hijinks ensues.
Oh, gee golly.
I don't think Spock likes hijinks.
No, he specifically mentions in the episode he disliked, or was that T'Pring? Or both?
It was so confusing because they are one and the same.
I know. I couldn't keep track of times for that. Around this time, number one and Singh finish beaming the last of the crew off the ship for their shore leave. However, M'Benga lets slip the nickname for the two. I don't really remember what it was, but it was like
where fun goes to die.
well, yeah, that's pretty accurate description. The two clearly are annoyed about that discovery, and they find two cadets trying to access the airlock for Enterprise Bingo, a game that breaks all the rules. So they decide to have a little fun with it and try to complete Enterprise Bingo themselves. I feel like this was one of those. They kind of mention it as like, are we really breaking the rules when we're the ones that make the rules? Kind of situations.
Man, listen, the interaction and the story between number one and Singh, I loved it. Yeah. They make a good pairing on screen.
Oh, I agree. I was actually surprised with how much I enjoyed the duo. Yeah. I felt that they did very well. There's definitely a lot of chemistry there for it.
Mm-hmm. You know, I was acutely aware of the Freaky Friday comparison when I was watching the episode, but now that we're talking about it, I kind of feel like there's some children's movie that we can compare number one and Singh's storyline with as well too. Like there has to have been something like that.
Oh, there totally would have had to have been.
It's not
Hangover.
I'm pretty sure that's not a children's movie, but good attempt, Eugene.
Right, good attempt. He did say children's movie.
So it turns out the Rongovians will only negotiate with Spock, putting T'Pring in the hot seat as she attempts to do so while in Spock's body. Spock, on the other hand, is forced to meet with a rehabilitating criminal for T'Pring's work. With Nurse Chapel, Spock meets with the criminal. The man clearly is unimpressed with the conversation and his choice of company. So Spock does what any natural person would do. He clocks him, which was pretty hilarious at the time.
Spock asks T'Pring.
Correct.
Okay.
She's T'Pring in the pain.
Oh. Demerit.
That was worth it though.
Yeah. Back to negotiations. Things aren't going well, so Pike steps in to tell T'Pring how he feels about Spock in front of Spock's body. Yeah, I'll go with that.
Wait. Give me 1 second to catch up. Hang on. Okay, all right, good.
I feel like a Charlie with the board.
Yeah.
That's pretty accurate. Pretty accurate there. Yeah. But because Pike steps in, it impressed the Rongovians, and in the end, Pike tells the Rongovians why they shouldn't join the Federation by being upfront with his feelings, and as far as the reasons why they shouldn't, he wins them over and they decide to join the Federation. Finally, Spock and T'Pring are able to find a way to swap their bodies through science of Mbanga, because that guy's a miracle worker, and everybody's learned a valuable unknown lesson. Not really sure the lesson, but they learn lessons. To sum up this episode, guys, T'Pring has a mean right hook, Mbanga can't really keep secrets, and the answer is within us all along.
Spock has a mean right hook.
But it was T'Pring.
But it was Spock as T'Pring, so it was Spock controlling. But that
wouldn't change the amount of force.
It doesn't matter. Like in terms of form,
still confined by the musculature. However,
right. So let's say that she didn't know how to fight. He knows at least how to do the form. But
all Vulcans know how to fight.
But also Vulcans have enhanced strength, don't they?
Yeah, but if you're fighting another Vulcan, it doesn't matter.
Oh, mind blown. Yeah.
I love how you just used comic book logic and it all made sense.
Mm-hmm. No, totally. Hey, by the way,
gentlemen, go ahead, Majid.
Oh, you were gonna say what we thought about the episode, and I got so excited. This is a really good episode for me. This is the closest you're gonna find, I think, This is my theory. Closest you're gonna find to a filler episode.
100%.
Yeah.
The opening, the dream that Spock had, weird.
Oh yeah.
Fun note about that. Did you guys catch the music during that fight?
Yes.
So there is there is an episode of the original series called Amok Time that we'll be eventually encountering, and that fight sequence and the music is a throwback to that episode.
The weapons too, right?
Yes.
Time Amok, right? I think that's what it was.
No, it's Amok Time, I believe. Because it's a reverse of... Yeah.
Amok Time, right?
I know I'm right.
Yeah, don't test
Drew,
his
Mr. Sleep Deprived is like, oh god, I'm freaking right in this one.
That was a horrible impression of Drew. That's a demerits.
That's you know what?
You don't.
Both of you guys. I feel like I need to like just pick you up from the scruff of your collars and be like, you guys need to behave. Come on.
Good luck. You weigh like 40 pounds soaking wet. Bring it on.
But I did kind of. I think the episode surprised me a little bit because I thought it would be more related to that original TOS episode. The episode was very good overall. I think that like to your point though, the opening sequence really helped set the tone for the conflict between within Spock and then the connection between him and T'Pring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And T'Pring is a character that is often neglected on TOS. Is that right? Like she wasn't really discussed more than once.
Well,
I think she's brought up a few times, isn't she?
I mean, from what I understand, I have not seen the episode, but I'm fairly sure that the episode of Amok Time she's a part of. So we will meet her. She does not have a prominent role in the show, though.
Yeah, I think it was a lot. She was only on a few episodes.
Literally like one.
No, she's actually been in. Apparently, the character's been in a few.
She's been in 2 episodes of Strange New Worlds and then 1 episode of the original series.
Okay.
That's it.
I feel like she's going to have a lot more prominent role in Strange New Worlds than she probably ever did in the original series.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Which is kind of cool because I think they have the freedom to kind of lay the groundwork. You know, it kind of comes out of nowhere in the original series. You know, who she is and what her role is in Spock's life. So, you know, they're doing a pretty good job of taking, and really they're doing this with all the characters. They're taking these characters that had like these little one-off appearances and just taking and making these huge story arcs for them, which is, I think it's being well handled.
You know what also is being well handled and introduced really slowly is a love triangle between Nurse Chapel, T'Pring, and Spock.
Yeah, I can kind of see that.
Yeah, Nurse Chapel clearly has feelings for our man Spock.
Yeah, you know, I wasn't even thinking about that, Michi, but now that you mention it, like thinking back this episode, I can definitely see connections there.
I wonder how that'll play out. That's kind of interesting.
I kind of feel like that may come up when we get to like Nurse Chapel's episode.
What do you mean Nurse Chapel's episode?
Whenever they do the focus, because to me, this episode was primarily focused on Spock.
Sure. Oh yeah, you're right.
And well, you know what I've noticed too with saying in number 1, it seems like they do like the focus on the primary, but they also have like sub focus where it's like two of the crew members kind of play off each other. What was it? Last episode was Uhura and Hemmer.
Yep.
And I kind of feel like I think they're doing that theme of like one main focus point and then two crew that they focus as a sub, where they build a connection between the two. Yeah,
they're establishing relationships between the crew, which is nice, you know.
And I actually like it. It seems very coherent and it flows very well.
It's been organic so far.
Yeah, so if they have their A their A storyline, right? The B storyline can usually focus on a set of two characters, right?
Right.
So last week the A storyline was the running from the Gorn. The B storyline was Uhura and Hemmer.
Right.
This week was the negotiations.
There were like 3 storylines going on in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, an A, a B, and a C. I would say the negotiations were like the C storyline.
Yeah, because that was kind of more of an after effect, and it was more of, I think to your point though, a relationship between Spock and T'Pring.
Mm-hmm.
That was the A.
Yeah.
I don't know, the number one and Sing parts of it, I actually enjoyed a lot more than I expected me to do so.
Yeah, I never expect to enjoy a storyline not focused on Pike, but I'm 5 episodes in, and I'm surprised every single time.
So I guess the question for you, Majid, that I have is that now that you've seen Stranger Worlds, to your point, 5 episodes in,
Mm-hmm.
you saw all of Discovery, right?
I have not yet taken the leap into season 4.
Okay. Well, you saw the first 3 seasons, and you saw how they connected each. Each episode's connected, moving a overall main story arc progression like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are your thoughts on comparison between Discovery and Strange New Worlds? Like which flows better for you?
So, I like serialized storytelling. I like where one arc drives motives the entire season. I love it when executed properly. So when it's executed properly, it's great. So I think a good example of that, Obi-Wan is a good example of that. Sorry, I got thrown off. Drew is combing his beard.
I gotta keep it luxurious.
Oh goodness. So Obi-Wan's a good is a good example.
I'll
of that.
stop.
The Mandalorian is a good example of that. Season 2 of Discovery.
See, I think Mandalorian wasn't that serialized though.
It was. It had an overall arc that was he was trying to return the baby.
I feel like that was more episodic with a subplot of serialization. Because each episode felt like its own self-contained story, but with a overall like the serialization was more of a guide to bring each new episodic episode. That's kind of how I felt with that one.
Okay, so then literally every other episode, every other series on Disney Plus is serialized, right? So Falcon and Winter Soldier, Loki.
I disagree in that sense because I do feel like Loki was a lot more serialized, and I know we're kind of getting off topic.
Very much. Yeah, we've derailed.
But I guess do you think you prefer the more serialized approach or more episodic? Because I know with myself, like the Strange New Worlds is so much closer to what Drew and I like really grew up with when it came to Star Trek. It was a lot less serialized overall. I
like the more serialized. So again, the high point for me in terms of Star Trek was Discovery season 2. That episode, from episode to episode, it kept me on the edge of my seat.
The season 2 was very well done.
Yeah, I would agree. That's probably my favorite season of Discovery thus far.
Yeah, because it introduced Zadie Pike.
Yeah,
but Pike, I think Anson Mount is a phenomenal actor, and I think he really helped drive that season.
Yeah, well, he's charismatic as hell. You know, when he's meeting the Rongovians. Drew, give me a thumbs up on that.
Yeah, Rongovians.
Okay,
that's what we've been saying. I don't know if it's right, but that's what we've been calling.
All right. So when he met the Rongovians, he offered to make him an Earth-based dish, which I thought was really charming. He says it with a smile. He just exudes, charm.
And because he's not fake. I think everything that he says he means.
Was it like the first episode where he beams into like the negotiations between like those two alien species, and he's like, "Hey, sorry to interrupt."
That was great. I love that. Yeah, he's doing a fantastic job.
I think you're right. Like, it really works for. I don't think it just works for the character, but it also works for the actor.
Yeah.
Like, the actor is able to pull it off very well, because I remember seeing like other stuff that the actors can't really pull it off as good.
Yeah, you know what it is? He has the freedom to do so because the character of Pike is not really that well established in the main timeline. So we've had what was his name?
Some wiggle room.
Well, yeah, wiggle room is the way to say it, but I'm thinking about the actor.
Well, the original actor for Pike.
Yeah, you have to please remember that Bruce Greenwood does not count.
Right. Well, so I said main timeline. I know how you want to stab me. Right. I know you want to stab me.
Now, Drew, with you, what are your thoughts on kind of like rehashing like a Freaky Friday style episode? Because I'm pretty certain we've had these type of episodes before in Star Trek. They always have hijinks. Like Spock clearly mentions that he doesn't like hijinks. So how do you feel about them rehashing this type of story?
It's fine. As long as it's done well, and I think they did it well here. I'm trying to remember specific episodes that have done it. I know it's been done before, but I'm drawing a blank. But I mean, like, this is the kind of thing, that's been told in fiction, just fiction, for decades, body swaps and things like that. And you could either take a serious approach where it's scary, or you could take a humorous approach like they took here. And I enjoyed it. I think it was a cute, fun episode that you could show to your family and not worry about it. And, coming off the heels of the Gorn episode, last week, that was a much darker episode that I think maybe some people might stop and think about whether or not they would show that to their kids. But this one, you could do it without hesitation.
Yeah, this is more of a palate cleanser. By the way, we are officially on Kirk Watch because we are now 3 episodes where he has not been in an episode.
Yeah.
He's in that coma.
I don't know if he's really going to have much play in this series. I really don't feel like he's going to have a focus episode like the rest of the crew will be. I think that'd be very odd if they did at this point. Yeah. But with the overall feel of the episode, Majid, how did you feel about that Freaky Friday switch?
I loved it. This is the second time that we've had an 80s style storytelling tool in Star Trek, at least, what I've seen. The first one was Discovery, where Mudd had the Groundhog Day machine.
Oh, yeah.
And
that was one of my favorites.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, exactly. When they play around with these classic tropes, it's fantastic. And this episode is no different.
And the rebels without the cause, who are the rule makers, number one in Sang, like how did that guys play off for you guys?
Can they breathe in space?
Well, no, but they have a force field around it, which I found that part a little cheesy.
That was a little convenient. I thought that was. Just put a freaking helmet on. Come on, guys.
I think I kind of feel like they wanted to do the scene, but they didn't have like the time to necessarily make the suits.
Yeah, maybe that was a budget thing or whatever, and it was just easier to CG a shield in.
I didn't see the shield. All I saw was, okay, well, they're both, enhanced in visuals.
You missed the part where she like reaches out and touches like the side, and then like everything kind of like flickers a little bit.
They make such a brief passing mention of it, but they cover their asses.
We've discussed this in the past. When I'm usually watching the episodes, I'm doing laundry.
Yeah.
So this may have been an issue where I was I put my head down,
preoccupied.
For what it's worth, I missed T'Pring or Spock punching the guy out. So.
Oh no.
Yeah. So we're there. But it was funny, lighthearted. It fit within the spirit of the episode. It didn't really, feel out of place. I thought it was a nice moment for the two of them to bond a little bit. I really enjoyed seeing that piece of the bulkhead with all the signatures on it. I thought that
was nice. That was really
a nice touch. Yeah. And I think it's the kind of thing where, like, people do stuff, and when you're on a spaceship traveling through the stars with limited contact with anybody outside of your crew, you got to do stuff to keep yourself occupied. And as long as it's not like harmful, who cares, So I thought it was a nice acknowledgement of like, all right, this is the crew's way of releasing steam. We've done it too. Now, okay, let's get back to business.
Yeah, I think that was probably a nice little touch towards it.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of the Rongovians?
I mean, they were probably the least memorable part of the entire episode.
Have they been on Star Trek before?
I don't recall them. It's not a race that I'm familiar with.
They seemed to mimic whoever, whichever alien species they were talking with.
Right.
And like at first, they looked familiar, but you know what? I could be remembering a like a Babylon 5 alien race, maybe, or something.
It's possible.
The one thing that jumped in my mind was the oh my god, what was the alien race that's been a big presence on Lower Decks?
Oh,
Packlets?
Packlets, yeah. They reminded me of the Packlets at first.
A little.
Yeah. Well, again, I'm not a Star Trek nerd. You insensitive guy.
I can see how you can make that drawing comparison.
Yeah. So they haven't. I don't think they've been on another episode from what Memory Alpha looks like. The Packlets though. I apologize, but I can't really see the connection, Majid.
Well,
I don't need your fake apology, Brad.
Visually, no, they don't look the same, but I think their mannerisms is what he's honing in on.
Really?
At least the first impression.
They're like, "Oh, you smart, I take you."
Yeah,
Ooh, what was the? Don't do impressions, buddy. Don't do impressions.
You know what? I'm hosting the episode, so I can do all the dang impressions I want. So
I'm going to give you a demerit for that one.
Yeah, we're all going to give you demerits for that one.
I don't like you two anymore.
Sorry, guys. We got the cat here today. She's
work for edit.
No, it's fine. She's sorry. All right, there he goes.
Hi, Stella.
She's not used to me being up this early to record. Usually, I'm out of the house by now.
Yeah, she's like, what the heck's going on? I used to have this room to myself.
Right. This used to be her room. This used to be her time because usually, so in the morning around this time, around 8:00, I'm starting to work and she could just sit on the window, but it's fine. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to throw you off, Brad.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I think what I want to do is I want to move into our ratings because there's actually one other topic that's that I want to talk about that's for the next week's episode.
Sure.
But before I get into that, I want to go into the ratings because let's first start with this. So how are we doing with this episode, guys? I'll start with you, Majid. What are your thoughts on overall rating for this episode?
The overall rating I'm giving this episode is a 9. I thought about this long and hard. I enjoyed this episode so much. And by the way, I don't appreciate the crew making fun of Mbega's hat. Mbega's hat was stylish.
That was a great hat.
That was a good hat. Yeah.
His whole little, like, he had maybe 5 minutes of screen time overall.
Yeah, not even that.
He stole every scene he was in.
I was fully expecting to have him though have his day completely ruined.
Yeah,
like he gets the flies out. He starts tying them onto the
that would have been perfect for like a hijinks episode.
He goes back, and all of a sudden, medical emergency, Dr. Tim sick bay.
Yeah.
He got to fish, and I think they asked him, said, "Well, what are you doing?" There's usually fishing on these biodomes, and I'm like, this guy is such a great character. Again, we've not had much with him.
Oh yeah, we need more.
we've seen Ortega's more, but I like Mbega.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Mbega just seems like a better character, but he also saved the day, which was nice. Which I don't entirely know how he saved the day. Was it mud
So-
he used?
Brad, I think they're implying that he invented cortical stimulators. Do you remember those from like
Yeah.
Next Gen? And I think they're implying that he used the fish guts or mud or something
Yeah.
so in Next Generation they have these magic things that they just put on people's foreheads that stimulate their brain and poof, medicine. And I think they just implied that Dr. Mbega invented that and used a rudimentary form of it with whatever.
Yeah, because he said that this is going to change or something like that. It was like,
Yeah,
this is going to change
they're
the
going to use
medicine.
this. They're going to use
it's going to
this.
be really popular. Yeah. No, that's actually, I didn't even pick that up until you mentioned that.
Yeah.
It makes 100% sense.
It was a throwaway line, but yeah.
It wasn't a throwaway for me because in my mind this is pre-TOS, right? So whatever happens here is going to set the tone. Well, not tone. It's going to be canon. So whatever happens before TOS and Next Generation is always going to carry on somewhere else.
It was definitely one of those things that, like, for somebody like me, if I wasn't paying attention, I could have missed that. Because that I don't believe they use those in TOS. I mean, I don't know for sure.
I don't believe so either. I think what we should do though is once we finish the season, we should kind of go in our ranking of each character, like for what we felt is like the strongest to potentially the ones that we would want to see more development in as far as overall.
Yeah,
I feel like Ortegas is going to be at the bottom of my list, but I really hope to be proven wrong.
I can understand it, but I think to your point though is like I really like Mbenga. He's a phenomenal character that I really am looking forward to getting to learn more of that character.
and he's had
By the way-
he's had no screen time at all. So
Right.
the actor is knocking it out of the park.
Did he leave
very
his
memorable.
daughter? He just kind of left his daughter while he went on.
Yeah,
shore
she doesn't
leave?
get she doesn't get shore leave.
No.
she's stuck there because of him.
But that was a very strong episode for you, I guess, Majid, because that's
It was a really strong episode. I love hijinks, and by the way, I would love to see if Lower Decks could do a bingo episode as well.
oh, that would be perfect.
That would be great.
perfect.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah, I could totally see them like taking that idea and pushing it even further.
Yeah.
I mean, you just have so much more leeway with animation than you do with live action.
Can you imagine Cerritos bingo compared to Enterprise bingo? They're not even the same game.
Right.
They
see Shaxx.
could explain that each ship has their own bingo.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
love
it's something with the ensigns, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Drew, how about you, buddy? Like, where did you fall with this episode?
I really enjoyed it, but I don't think I felt quite as high as Majid did. I thought it was a fun episode, right? It was super lighthearted, very enjoyable. Certainly would watch it again, but I don't think it lives up to some of the other episodes that we've seen so far. So for me, I'm kind of feeling like around a 7.
Okay.
You know, and I feel good about that score. I would certainly leave this on if it were on again in the rerun, but I might not be paying fully attention to it. I might be browsing on my phone or doing something on the computer, having it be a little bit more like background noise rather than like getting my undivided attention like an episode like Memento Mori might.
So I definitely understand what you're meaning for that, because the episode itself wasn't a bad episode, and I remember when I was going through like the watching of it, I couldn't pick out things that really bothered me about it. To me, like, everything made sense the way they did. There was some cheesiness, but that wasn't anything beyond like the normal stuff. But I think it was just the overall feel for the episode just didn't resonate with myself. I'm actually right there with you on a 7.
Okay.
It was a good episode. It just, I think it just didn't fit with my personality style.
Yeah.
But overall, to looking at our history, we've this series has been really knocking it out of the park. It keeps going one episode after another, nothing to a point where it really falls short. I feel like the stories that are self-contained and are able to really, present a message and some level of entertainment that allows us to move forward.
We've been pretty critical of some of the original series episodes that we've covered up to this point. Myself particularly.
Yeah.
But just looking at the rankings that we keep, our little spreadsheet, this is just overwhelmingly positive in a way that I was not expecting.
Yeah, I agree. Couldn't agree more with that. So gentlemen, shall we move on to next week's episode?
Yeah.
So the only thing I'm able to find is potentially the title of the episode. It's called Lift Us Where Suffering Cannot Reach.
So is this an episode about lifting up somebody so that they can't suffer? Like you're just carrying them higher than everybody else? Like Majita's carrying Stella right now. She cannot suffer because she is above everything.
But I feel like Stella's like, oh my God, let me go. I want to leave this place.
Her paws cannot touch the ground with all the sheetrock that's on it.
No, you know what Stella's doing? I have the paper that I wrap the glass in, the tempered glass on my wall. She's deciding now's a good time to step on that paper.
Because, crinkle,
noise.
crinkle.
Right. Cats love the mess. Now she's on the desk and about to go through the blinds. She's chaos right now. She's in a mood.
What do you think the episode's about? This is like us trying to figure out what this episode is going to be.
And keep in mind, it could be entirely wrong name. I'm willing to bet it's not, but that is a mouthful of an episode.
I hope that's not the case because I don't remember doing the title card with an episode title that long. I don't know how I'm going to fit that title. Is that really the episode title? Because Drew, we're going to have problems.
Wikipedia.
Yeah, no.
We don't have confirmation, but we believe it is.
Yeah. And there's no description, no information other than June 9th.
Yeah, this is a guns actually situation right now.
See,
you're gonna have to explain that one to Brad.
I feel like the title is like a name of a song. Like that's the type of title I would hear on a song, not on a TV episode.
Up where suffering isn't.
Yeah.
On the Enterprise.
That's definitely something they would sing in church.
Flying through space and time.
You're gonna
Drew,
edit
you should do a
music
cover, man.
I just wrote a song. You guys like?
Are you gonna edit background music into that?
No,
when you
no,
please?
acapella, baby. Okay, I'll find it.
Do
for
a little
me.
guitar thing. Drew's like, I freaking hate you guys.
Like the only reason you got singing out of me is because I'm delirious right now.
Oh man, so that means I think we can push for a little bit more. Come on, Drew, you can do it.
What's the name of the episode again?
Lift us where suffering cannot reach.
No, I got nothing.
He's like, yeah, no.
So
y'all are on your own.
So someone is drowning in the biodome, and Mbega has to give him CPR.
But his arms are too short. He can't reach him.
Right. So, lift us. The person's too heavy and they skip leg day, so they can't actually lift him up.
But if they lift him closer to Mbega's short arms, then he'll be within range.
So I guess with that title alone, what are your predictions on who the main focus point will be?
If you ask me this question every single week, my answer is always going to be Pike. Even this week, you can tell me Spock Amok, and it's still going to be Pike.
Pike already had his episode, and we haven't gone through the entire cast yet.
So,
who's left for us?
Ortegas,
Chapel,
Manga.
This might be an Mbega episode.
I could see that
based on that title. This might be him.
However,
it's a Pike episode.
Ortega's could be it. It could be Ortega's.
Could be.
She is the pilot. Lift us
Well,
up.
well, no, she says, "All right, lift us where suffering can't reach." So she has to lift the ship
Yep.
at an altitude.
I think the name of the episode is a good episode name for a manga.
Yeah.
Mega would probably be a good focal point for that. And that would make sense because he's the doctor. He's got to lift them up.
Yeah, because the biobed is too low in the ground, so you have to bring it closer to work on. It's like, the doctor's chair, or, they have seats and beds that rise in the 21st century, so why not in the 23rd?
Yeah, it's broken, so therefore, like, he's got to actually do a manual lift.
Yeah. Right. There's certain things in the future that are still broken, like the McDonald's ice cream machine.
Ice cream machine, yeah. I knew where you're going with that, Majid.
Thanks.
It took me a second.
Well, gentlemen, anything else we want to cover before we close out this week's episode?
Get your sleep, folks.
And drink coffee when you can.
Yes, I am a pro at both.
Pre-workout. Pre-workout has caffeine and it'll give you the kick and make your skin feel like you're on fire. You could run through fire.
And as folks, as you probably listened from last week, you can hear the amount of energy Majid had comparison between the two episodes.
I haven't had my pre-workout yet.
No, he hasn't. That's why he's so slow this morning.
Don't call me slow.
Well, folks, as always, thanks for listening. Have a good one.
Bye.
Good night.
Thanks for listening to yet another Star Trek podcast. We're a part of the Retro Sessions Network. This episode was recorded on June 4th, 2022, and is hosted by Brad, Drew, and Majid. This episode was edited by Drew, the master and controller of the universe. Brad copied the synopsis from Disney Plus, but he kind of made some adjustments, so therefore I guess it's not really plagiarism. Then he wrote his own little thing. So, there's that. Majid takes care of all the artwork, except when he doesn't, and then it's nobody does it. It's really just kind of up in the air. Special thanks to William Grobelar Music for our music Warp Speed into the Stars. You can find him on SoundCloud. We'll have links in the show notes. Also, special thanks to George Ratau for his additional artwork. He makes us look like Lower Decks. Hit him up on Fiverr and you can too. We'll drop a link for him in the notes as well. We'd love to hear from you. Hit us up on TikTok, Instagram, or Twitter at yetanotherstpod, or shoot us an email at yetanotherstpod@gmail.com. We've also got Discord room, so come chat with us and say hello. Next week, we'll be watching the episode Lift Us Where Suffering Cannot Reach. Watch along with us on Paramount Plus and let us know what you think of the episode. Let us know how we did with a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Plus, it helps support the show. It's free. Thanks for listening. Have a good one.